stop drinking Captain Morgan. Drink these other brands instead. So first off, what's wrong with Captain Morgan? Well, for one, I think that it is not a good representation of what rum is. And for most people in the United States, this is what they understand and think of as rum. It's one of the best-selling brands in the United States, and it's just so commonplace almost everywhere. The spices in this, in my opinion, are used to kind of cover up a pretty crappy rum with other flavors and added sugars and a bunch of things along those lines. And I think that it skews people's perception to what rum should be and what rum can taste like, because it really shouldn't taste like this. And while it is cheap, in this video I'm gonna be showing you rums that are about the same price or even just a tiny bit more expensive that are way better than this. But all right, let's get right into it. So the first rum that we're gonna talk about is Appleton Estate Signature. This bottle of rum is made in Jamaica, and Jamaican rums have this very kind of particular flavor to them. It's not necessarily a spice. That Jamaican funk gives it a real uniqueness that I think is really well worth it. The other part about this is that this bottle is $17. $17. That's so cheap. This is their like budget entry level, and it's killer. I use it at my well in my bar. I use it in my well at my bar. That's how words work. All right, let's taste a little bit and talk about it. Nice, sharp, kind of funky aroma, but with like some underlying fruit notes to it. So tasty. It's crisp. It's got this kind of like almost like a banana kind of flavor. That Jamaican funk is very present, really good. And I'm gonna say it again, for that price, it's really hard to beat. So the next rum I wanna talk to you about is Mount Gay's Eclipse. Now, you might be thinking, Mount Gay, I see it right next to the Captain Morgan. Why is it blah, 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 blah. It is sold right next to the Captain Morgan, but that doesn't mean they are within the same kind of quality level, in my opinion. Mount Gay has been around for over 300 years. They've been making rum for a very long time. It is a rum that comes from Barbados. And what I love about rum is that every island or every country that makes rum, they have their own unique kind of take on it, and they create these incredible expressions. Barbados rum, for example, has a very particular flavor as well, similar like how Jamaican rum has like a signature Jamaican funk to it. It is pretty cost effective. It comes in at around 20 bucks as well. It's probably as expensive as Captain Morgan. All right, let's pour some out. Oh man, that's awesome. It's got this incredible like ripe banana and mocha kind of flavor to it. And there's these like hints of like vanilla on the back end. And so this one also has a lot of those flavor notes that you would find in Captain Morgan, but again, just not artificially. It just comes from the aging and from the type of rum that they make. And they even make a Navy Strength, which is a almost 60% ABV. It's like 57.3 rum that I really enjoy. It stands up really well in a lot of different tiki cocktails. Really good for cocktails, an easy one to kind of up your game if you want to drink some good rum. The next brand I want to talk to you about is Hamilton, and Hamilton 86 specifically. Hamilton 86 is a rum from Guyana, and it is probably by far the rum that I use the most in my bar and restaurant. It is my well rum. And it's also a favorite of a lot of tiki bartenders. Exclusively Beach Bum Berry, who is a pretty renowned tiki bartender and bar owner and author, and it's one of his favorites. And it's called the Hamilton 86 because 86 is the proof, meaning it is 43% ABV. And this is a blended rum that doesn't have any added sugars or sweeteners, and it's aged for 5 years. It does come in a little bit more expensive, I think, than the Captain Morgan, about like $20 to $25-ish, but I think it's worth it. Before we talk about the flavors, let's just pour some out here. Ooh. That is tasty. It's got this rich, dark fruit and almost spicy flavor with some hints of like smoky wood and tobacco. It really has a lot of spice notes, even though there's no added spice to it. A lot of it comes from the barrels and the rum itself. And it shows, in my opinion, that you can get that nice spiced flavor in a rum, but it doesn't have to be from artificial means. And then once you've explored the 86, they have the 151. They're overproof. I like to use these a lot in combination in some tiki cocktails when you want a little bit more of that like punch right in your face with the rum. And they also have a couple of other expressions. I really like their Jamaican Pot Still Gold, and there's the Jamaican Pot Still Black. And they also have the Beach Bum Berry's Zombie Blend, which he made specifically to make zombies with, which is a very popular tiki cocktail. The last brand I want to talk to you about before we make our own spice rum is Privateer's New England Reserve Rum. Privateer is a brand that is local to me here in Massachusetts, and I've actually been working with them for a really long time in my bars, or the bars that I've worked at, in my bar as well. Their white rum is my well rum. It's really well priced for a liter. It's really tasty, made from 100% single origin grade molasses. The reason I like the Reserve as a good alternative for Captain Morgan is that even though it does come in a little bit more expensive, it's like $25 to almost $30, I think it is a beautiful demonstration of what a really great American rum can be, with a ton of flavor that is natural and really delicious. I love that. I love that so much. So crisp. You get this beautiful, almost spiced note. It's got like a really bright oaky flavor from the barrel. I actually think that if you like whiskeys, you'd love this, but it definitely has that very distinct rum flavor and rum characteristics.
It is by far one of my favorite rums on the planet, and everything they make is amazing. I love them as a brand, and it just happens to be a bonus that they're local to me. So definitely worth checking out. All right, so now let's make our own spiced rum, right? And before you guys start getting in the comments about, wow, you're adding all these things to your rum. I am, but that's to show you that you can make your own spiced rum, because if you really want that spiced rum flavor that Captain Morgan has, there is a way for you to replicate it at home with better ingredients that are fresh. I personally prefer all of the rums that I've shown you up until this point. I'm not the biggest fan of spiced rum, because like I said, I find it's a way to mask crappy made rum, but if you take really good rum and put stuff in it, you can make an incredible spiced rum. And now, don't just take it from me. The recipe that we're going to use comes from Smuggler's Cove. And if you don't know Smuggler's Cove, they are, in my opinion, probably like the tiki bar in America. And these guys know their rum. On top of all the incredible recipes in here and the stories in here, it is like a rum Bible. They go through so much about rum, and it's where I learned almost all the things that I know about rum. So we're gonna go with their spiced rum recipe. So first we're gonna start off with 2 bottles of Hamilton 86, which we already noted has a pretty strong kind of spiced underlying flavor, which I think is only going to be enhanced with the ingredients that we're going to put in here. You can scale this down to just 1 bottle, so if you don't want to make 2 bottles, I'm literally going to follow the recipe exactly as it is in the book. So it says grab 2 bottles of your favorite aged rum. We're going to go with Hamilton 86. You know what, we'll do the rum last. So the first thing we're going to do is get some fresh Madagascar vanilla bean. Real vanilla, not imitation vanilla. Come on guys, we're using real ingredients here. So you're going to grab your vanilla bean, and if you've never worked with vanilla bean, it is amazing. It's expensive, but it is amazing. You're gonna grab a cutting board and you're gonna split your vanilla bean in half because you wanna get what's actually inside of the pods. You're gonna cut this in half, be careful. And you can scrape it, but it's gonna sit there for about 3 days. So I'm actually just gonna split it, which will open it up to give it access to the rum. And we're just gonna put it right in there. Smell your fingers after, it's the best. Don't take that out of context, please. And now for some citrus, we're gonna do they said for like a 5-inch orange peel with as little of the white pith as possible. So we're gonna try to very carefully do that. I don't know if this is 5 inches. I'm not very good with sizes in inches, but we're gonna do maybe 2 of these. Leave that, and we'll just do another one, just because citrus is great, you know? So I'm just gonna put that in there. And then we're gonna do about 6 allspice berries. You usually find like ground allspice, but I found this at the supermarket. Just whole allspice berries. 6 allspice berries. Oh, they smell incredible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 1 8-inch, again, not good with the inches, stick of cinnamon. I don't have 8 inches, so we're gonna do we're gonna do 2 cinnamon sticks. We're gonna do 6 whole cloves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And then we're gonna do 10 black peppercorn, which is, if you don't know, it's what black pepper comes from. And if you didn't know that, maybe read a book. Oh, just love that smell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
We're gonna grab a whole fresh nutmeg and we're gonna do a freshly grated, it's supposed to do about 1/4 of a teaspoon, which I'm going to eyeball, and we're gonna freshly grate this about there. Yeah, you should measure it if you want. You should do that. I just did this. 1/4 of a teaspoon.
And the last thing we need is 2 slices of fresh ginger, and you don't need to peel it. So we're just going to get some nice from the middle. Do like nice, ooh, this is a juicy ginger. Yeah, throw those right in there. And so those are the spices that we're gonna use. They're all pretty common. There's nothing super crazy about them. You can find almost every single one in a grocery store. I mean, you can find everything in a grocery store. And then we're just gonna put our rum, and we're gonna let it sit for 3 days. And then let's just lock this up, give it a nice little swish, and leave it in a cool place for 3 days. That's kind of it.
3 days later.
All right, so it's been a few days of this sitting here and infusing with the spices. We're gonna take this out and strain it, and then we're gonna taste it side by side along the Captain Morgan. So I'm gonna dump it all into here first. And now we're gonna try to strain this out without making a mess, which is always difficult for me. We're already starting to make a mess. That's good. I also picked the world's worst receptacle to pour this stuff into. And so here we have our own spiced rum. I'm gonna pour some out into a cup. Captain Morgan. We're going to taste these side by side. I'm terrified of tasting this, by the way, but all right. So, nice pretty glass, our house-made spiced rum. The straight glass, we have the regular spiced rum. First off, I just want to compare the color. Obviously, the Hamilton 86, it is a 5-year aged rum. And Captain Morgan, if I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually don't know if they're actually aged at all, or if this is just coloring. So do with that information what you will. So the color is already much different. I mean, obviously the spices weren't gonna change the color, but on the nose of the Captain Morgan, you get a lot more of that ethanol alcohol aroma. And you get that like artificial sweetness from the vanilla. Like it's artificial vanilla, like vanilla extract, not really like real vanilla. Whereas on the spice rum here, I smell a lot of clove. I smell some of that real vanilla. That ginger is very present. Ugh. It's just so, I don't like, it's so artificial tasting. It just tastes like at the end you get like that like cake batter kind of like thing right at the back of your mouth. It's just not good at all. Set that aside. And now let's taste the house spiced rum. Whoa, you get so much nuance in that. The spice really comes through. It is really tasty. It's incredible. And honestly, you still get a lot of those spices that you have in the Captain Morgan, but way more real flavor, way more authentic, and way tastier. So if you want to do like a rum and coke and you really, really want that spiced flavor, it takes you like a couple of days to make some spiced rum and you're good for a while. You know what I mean? Like I have 2 bottles worth of spiced rum here that truthfully, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But I do this for you. And that's how you make your own spiced rum. That's way better than Captain Morgan. And so there you have 4 different brand options and your own recipe to make your own spiced rum so you can stop drinking Captain Morgan. If you enjoyed this video, I have this whole other video right here next that you can watch. Smell your fingers after. It's the best.